Hey everyone, it's Sharana from Pay Your Weight, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Hulu limited series Little Fires Everywhere, episode 6, The Uncanny. Man, have y'all been on my necks about this review, y'all. I'm sorry that it's late. I'm not gonna lie to you, I started watching this before the episode came out, and it was just felt like it was taking a lot for me to watch it, so I had like stopped, and then I just got sidetracked with life, and so here we are before the next episode airs, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the other episode tonight because I don't want to hear nobody's mouths tomorrow. So yeah, this episode is really split up into 2 different episodes. This really gives us a lot of backstory for Mia's character as we're trying to figure out who is Pearl's daddy, okay? And then also too with Helena, I think that her storyline actually gives us a lot more context as to who she is, but also too why Jamie read her for filth at the end of last week's episode. I was so here for that. I was like, man, can we play that in the intro like every single week, just Jamie reading her? But now it makes a lot more sense, and I felt like he should have went in a little bit harder than he did in last week's episode. So first I'll talk about Mia. So we go back to 1981, and so Mia's at the dinner table with her parents and her brother Warren, and oh my goodness, I was like, hey, I forgot your name, but it was you from Cloak and Dagger. I was like, hey boo, I'm so happy to see you in this. But we have a younger Mia Warren, who was played by Tiffany Boone, who did an absolutely fantastic, phenomenal job of portraying this character, and also having Kerry Washington's mannerisms, because some of the stuff she's doing toward the end of the episode, I was like, girl, is you Kerry? Are you Kerry? Did Kerry jump into your body and just control you and move you? Because that's how much she had her mannerisms down pat. Did an absolutely fantastic job. So we see that they're praying at the dinner table, okay? And Mama is saying the shadiest prayer ever. Talking about how she hoped the Lord bless her son to get into the NFL so one of her children can have a successful career. I said, Mama, why you sit up there being shady with Mia being all petty? I was like, I was here for it, but don't be disrespectful like that. Mia had to go ahead and cut the whole prayer short. Okay, you can't be petty in your prayer at the dinner table. I just don't understand. So we find out that Mia is actually going to New York to art school, and so this is something that her mother does not approve of. I know if I would have told my mama, hey, I'm gonna go to art school, she'd be like, ma'am, have several seats because I sure ain't paying for it. And we see that Mia and her brother Warren, which is how she got her last name, we see that they have a very close relationship. Her brother like handed her all this money, like, hey, you know, I know I've been saving up for a car, but I just want to make sure that you're safe. I thought it was so cute. I was like, that is so cute. My brothers would never do anything like that for me, and probably not me for them either. But we see that she goes, and this is where she comes into contact with Pauline Hawthorne, played by Anika Noni Rose, who was her teacher. And we see that that is actually how they met. And so we see that she is trying to really help Mia like break into her art, to really seek out something a little bit deeper. But I was like, you know what? When she invited her to that art show class, I was like, so you just want to do drugs? Like, so you just her teacher, but you just gonna give her drugs to do? Like, that's what us teachers are doing back in the 80s? I was like, alrighty then. But I was like, yes, for the Stonewall shirt that she had when she needed a shirt, so she was staying at a teacher's place. I was just like, Mia, you ain't got nowhere to stay, girl. Like, why you all up in here? Or maybe it was the drugs she was taking, but as we see, it was a little bit more. But in this episode, we're given a lot more context as to who Jesse Williams' character is, the guy who has really been staring her down on this train, to the point where it became very creepy for me to watch him do this episode after episode after episode. And so one of the things that we find out is that this really haunts her, because that is actually Pearl's father. So we see that him and his wife, the Ryans, his wife, Nicole Bahari, who I absolutely love and adore, and I was so excited to see her in this episode. They've been really struggling to have a child. And so he has been staring at her because she reminded him so much of his wife that he wanted to propose the idea. They would pay her money, which came in handy because Mia finds out that the school funding has been cut. So has her scholarship been cut as well. And so she basically agrees to have their child in order to help pay for her schooling. So in the midst of all of this, they use a turkey baster. I was like, okay, well, I guess y'all trying to save money and stuff since you paid her. But I was like, really, a turkey baster? And then I was like, Mia, you a virgin about to get pregnant? I was like, girl, like, there are other ways. What happened to fast food? Was fast food not there back then? I don't actually know what fast food trash anyway. So you know what? You're probably better off doing it this way. But I was scared for her. I was like, ooh, girl, this gonna hurt. I was really concerned. that really like bothered me for a moment. But we see that while she's in New York, she gets a visit from her brother Warren, who comes up to visit her, and then he realizes that she's pregnant, and he was just like, girl, what is you doing? And then also too, he kind of discovers that Pauline and her, they seem to be a little more than friends, even though nothing has necessarily been discussed. But I thought it was really cute that he basically tells her, like, never let anyone tell you who you are. And then he says, he reminds her that she wanted to create something that would change the world, which I thought that was really cool. And then he was like, what if that's her? And he was talking about the baby because he had a feeling that it was going to be a girl. And so he kind of confronts her like, what's going on with you and Pauline? And then she's like, nothing, we just friends. And he was like, girl, outside of chemistry, y'all not just friends. And so this forces Mia to kind of confront Pauline. And she asks her like, what are we? And then she was like, you tell me. And then she kissed her. And she says everything. And she like said it how Carrie was saying. I was like, oh Lord, I felt like Carrie just injected her spirit into Tiffany Boone's body because it was too much to watch. And so they end up fostering a romantic relationship with one another. And I thought that the bathtub scene was so cute. We see that that's how she ended up getting her picture. But unfortunately, while things are going well for her and Pauline, she receives a phone call from her mother that her brother Warren has died. He was with his friends. He got into an accident. He is now dead. So she goes to be with her parents. But as soon as she got out of that car and her mama saw that belly, her mama turned away. I said, ooh, child, I don't know if we necessarily thought all of this through. But what was even more shocking was when her mother really sat up here and asked her not to go to the funeral because people would ask too many questions. And I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe that she said that. But this makes sense because that's kind of how like some Black parents are. They don't want to act like anything is wrong with their kids, or they don't want to be the talk of the town. But I thought it was just so selfish for her to take that moment away from her. Let it have been me and my mama told me some mess like that. I would have had to hop my behind. I would have been like Denise from the Clark Sisters. She was like, I'm riding in the limo. Move over. I'm going to my brother's funeral. I wish you would try to tell me that I'm not going to be able to say goodbye to my brother. The audacity. But also too, I want to give a shout out to them because they talked about this artist called Richard Prince, I believe, who I love that they brought that up because Richard Prince was actually an artist who made a lot of money, but he was actually replicating other people's previous art, and he like made millions off of it, and they sued him. He lost, and then he won a couple of years later. So I was happy that they like mentioned like he was a fraud. He was in the period stealing stuff, stealing people's art, but somehow he won his second fair use appeal. So yeah, but I was happy that they brought that up. I was like, give the people a little bit of history, okay? I was totally here for this. But we see that because of her mom rejected her, her parents rejected her and telling her she couldn't go to the funeral. We see that she writes a note. She talks to Pauline and she lies to Pauline on the phone, talking about she needs to be there with her parents a little bit longer to help them through things. And we see that she writes a letter to the Ryans telling them that she miscarried. And she basically takes off in her brother's car. And we see that she kind of goes from city to city. And then we see she ends up having her baby. And she ends up calling Pauline. And then, however, Anita, who is the dealer who like she's been talking to in the previous episodes, she basically ends up telling her that Pauline actually passed away 2 months ago, that Pauline had ovarian cancer and she was waiting to tell her in person. So this really sets Mia off, and this is how she kind of gets on her whole going from place to place, moving from time to time. And I like how they did the montage of Pearl as a little baby into the Pearl that we know now and today. But her story was so sad because, you know, not only she kind of took this baby, and she mentioned that the Ryans had been calling Pauline looking for her, but just like the heartbreak of her brother and losing her like real like first love, I was just like, oh my goodness, now you kind of get a glimpse into why Mia is so guarded, why she rarely shows emotion. You can tell that she's had a tough life. You can tell that she's went through a lot of pain and a lot of trauma, but now we understand a little bit more like why she is the way that she is. And then also too, we realized that Pauline left that picture for her because she assumed that she would end up keeping the baby, and she knew that she would need money. And so now we understand why it was so hard for her to actually sell that that picture. So Also, too, we get a glimpse into Elena's past, and I want to give kudos to Anna Sophia Robb, who plays the younger Elena, who just literally took Reese Witherspoon's spirit and put it inside of her body. I think that both actresses did such a fantastic job. Like, they really act like the women that they are portraying in their younger selves, and I just just give them everything that they deserve, every role that they asked for, give it to them, because they did the dang on thing. So we see that Elena's living in a duplex. She got her 3 babies. She with her boo thing Bill, and she's living the life that Jamie said hell to the no. So we see that she returns to work and she's trying to get a promotion. I like how the guy was like, are you done having kids? But what we find out is she sees that her friend got a promotion that she wanted to have. And then basically she goes to the doctor. She's trying to get on birth control because she knows she does not want to have any more kids. She doesn't want to sideline her career trajectory. However, she finds out that she cannot get the pill because the girl got pregnant again. I said, girl, who is on maternity leave and then you end up getting pregnant with a whole nother kid? I don't understand how these things happen. Actually, I do, because it happened to my brother. But I'm just saying, dang, y'all didn't want to take no break. Like, did you even wait the whole 6 weeks? Like, what was happening? What was going on? Did you even wait to get clear or not? Just let me know. So she's not taking this too well at all. We see that she has a dinner with the McCulloughs. They've been friends for a long time. And we see that she gets sick in the middle of dinner, and then Linda obviously knows what's up. And then they talk about the miscarriages they just had. Should they tell them? Should they not tell them? So it's just hard because, like, dang, Linda, like, you had to see this girl get pregnant kid after kid after kid, especially after the 3rd one. She didn't even want no more and got pregnant again. And so because of this, you know, she had been trying to get Bill to get the house from their mom, the bigger house, and he kind of like agreed to everything when he saw that she was just really frustrated the fact that she was pregnant with another child. But I find it interesting that the conversation that she has with her mother, when she kind of alludes to her, like, what if I don't want this kid? And she was just like, that's not a choice that you have. Like, kind of like, you know, people who aren't like us, like, they can have an abortion, like, that's typical of them, but you are above that. And I was just like, girl, what? Like, I was like, all right then. She's like, abortion isn't for people like us. I was like, well, what people is it for then? Tell me. Anyways, so she ends up getting pregnant. She moves, has the baby. The baby just, Elena, like, she was going through it, y'all. Izzy wasn't trying to take no. She wasn't trying to take to her breast. She wasn't letting her breastfeed her. Then she tried to go to she went to the dang on store. I was like, y'all, how y'all got pure Pampers diapers? That was not here in the 80s, y'all. Y'all need to pay attention to the product position that you have. They didn't have no Pampers Pure in the 80s. Like, what were we doing there? That was like, that's almost worse than the water bottle, because you just thought we weren't going to know that they didn't just come out with Pampers Pure not even a year ago. So she goes, get some formula, okay? Because she said, I didn't have it. Girl, you just ain't gonna, you're not going to get no good titty milk, okay? You're going to get this formula just like all the other kids in the world. So she goes, and then she tries to turn the water on, child. And I thought she just lost it. When she saw that water wasn't turned on, baby, she started destroying the whole entire kitchen, smashing dishes. She went off on Bill. She told him, bring your behind home now. I do not care what you have doing the work. It does not matter to me, but you better get your behind here. So as soon as he come home, she leaves. She's like, I'm going to get a pacifier. And then she ends up calling Jamie. She heard that Paris music, like, dang, I probably should have stayed with Jamie. I wouldn't even be going through all of this right now. I would have been living my best life, traveling across the world. But no, you chose Bill, girl. You wanted to have your babies. Now you got your babies, your duplex, and you got a new house with these little crying, screaming babies. So she ends up meeting Jamie. He meets her at a bar. He drives 6 hours to get to her because she was crying on the phone. And so, you know, he asks her, is she happy? And how he's still in love with her and how he, like, thinks about her all the time. They end up kissing. Then they take her back to her place, his hotel room. They try to smash it. He grabbed her. I knew as soon as he grabbed her breast, I was like, girl, my breast hurt for you. Because I know you probably hadn't pumped in a long time. Izzy already wasn't taking your titty milk. And so, child, it hurt. And then she had to go to the bathroom to try to, like, squeeze it out. Then she just looked at herself in the mirror and probably had another mental breakdown. And then she tells Jamie, like, I gotta go, I can't do this. And then he was like, I just want you to be happy, like, come with me. I know you're miserable. You don't have to live this miserable life. And she was like, I'm married with 3 kids. She said just how Reese said. I was like, girl, you're not in love. You might love him, but you ain't in love with Bill. You know you don't want these crying kids, okay? You know you don't want it. And so she basically, like, leaves, like, goes off on him. And then she comes back home Linda and Bill looking at her like, girl, where you been? She's like, I just need a minute. A minute, girl. You've been gone for like hours. If Jamie had time to drive 6 hours and you had time to have a whole breakdown again in the store, like you had more than hours, okay? You was gone for more than a minute. Then she was like, the baby started crying, and then she gets a pacifier. She's like, it's okay, I got it. But then he sees this paper on the floor, and it's Jamie's name on it. And so I was like, Lord, like, what did Bill do after this? Like, I need to have answers. But I think that this episode really shows what I love and hate about Little Fires Everywhere. I think on one end, I sometimes, just like with this episode, like watching the first half, I was kind of bored with it. I feel like everything, it feels sometimes tedious or like a chore to watch, to get through, because some episodes are just so slow. But because of the powerful performances from Reese and from Carrie and from Tiffany and from Anna Sophia, like that is what makes you want to watch, because the performances are so great. But I don't know if it's necessarily from, I don't even want to say from a writing aspect. It's just so slow, and it takes so much to really get things going, and you have these high dramatic moments in the show, but then it kind of falls flat again. And so that's one of the reasons I have a love and hate relationship with Little Fires. But I hope that for the last 2 episodes that it gets better, that it speeds up a little bit now that we actually have the background information on Elena and Mia. I'm interested to see what happens with the Ryans. Are they still looking for Pearl to this day? Is there a connection between Mia and Elena? I'm trying to figure out how these two women's lives and their past, how are they going to cross over from one another? So hopefully we figure this out, because there's only 2 episodes left, so I don't know when this is going to happen, but I hope it happens soon. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on Little Fires Everywhere, episode 6, The Uncanny. As always, my name is Sharonda from Pay Your Weight, and if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. I'll see you soon.